All right, everybody, welcome. This is the Old School Comics. This is episode 2. If you missed it, episode 1, we had a Heritage Collection. Tonight, War Comics. That's what we're talking about. Golden Age War Comics. See you guys in a bit. All right, everybody. As you know, I'm the CEO, Dino. We got our man, DS. So what's up, my man?
What is up, dude? I'm super excited about this show. I know it's tough to top what we started off with this. This is our second episode, and last week we did our first inaugural episode with a killer review of the Promise collections. It's hard to top that. But yeah, I'm excited going forward. And so tonight I got a friend of mine, the incomparable Mancavecomics, to join us. Very astute Golden Age collector and of other stuff, but we're going to talk mainly about Golden Age tonight. Mancave, thanks for being here, man. How you doing?
Thanks for having me, man. I view this episode like the second edition of a comic. It's always like the much less valuable, much less sold. You know, X-Men #2. after that wonderful Promise collection show you guys had last week. But I'm very thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, it's tough to top the Promise collection unless we have like a Mile High, which I don't think we're doing a Mile High pedigree show anytime soon. So yeah, just plan on having some great collectors in here and some good viewpoints on some stuff. And so yeah, well, since you're here, Man Cave, I mean, I know you. We've been talking, and I consider us friends over the last probably couple of years.
Yeah, at least 2, I think.
Yeah,
2 now.
Yeah, and we talk about a variety of topics in the market and Golden Age books. But for those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about like how you got into collecting, how long you've been collecting, what type of stuff you like, and just a little background on you how you are in the hobby.
Sure. I've been hardcore collecting in the last 10 years and Golden Age comics more the last 3 to 4 years. And every time I say this, I look back and think, am I right on those dates? Because time flies so much. Yeah. But I, just like a lot of people, I had different waves of collection. So I was actually collecting when I was 10 years old, going to flea markets and keeping, long boxes of comics. And then I went through a second stretch in college with my brother collecting many comics, and sort of fell out of the hobbies in the 90s and came back to it pretty strong in around 2010. Before that, I was actually buying modern comics for a while. Like I have Invincible and Walking Dead, which I happened to buy a while back, but I wasn't really collecting at that point. But really buying.
I got back into the hobby like 2015, and I think it's pretty common. A lot of people take we're into comics when we're young, and then we take a long break because life comes by, and we do other stuff with our life in our 20s, 30s, whatever. And then we come back into the hobby with a sort of more mature view, I think. And we have, we more know about what we like, and we have more money because we have real jobs and careers. And stuff. But when did you start going after Golden Age? Because if you're like me, you probably didn't even know they existed when you were younger.
I have a guy who I won't say has a local comic store. He actually sells more vintage toys and vintage comics and vintage cards. He's right next to my LCS, and I didn't even know about him until my son said, why don't you ever go to that other comic store? And I said, what comic store? And it's sort of hidden. And I was like, oh, what the hell is this place? And started buying stuff there. And he's like, you love comics. Do you buy Golden Age? Because they're actually pretty good deals. And so he actually got me buying some thrilling comics and some fight comics and just war cover stuff. And Captain Marvel. He got a big Captain Marvel collection, which I pretty much bought off of him. And at that point I was hooked. And it was about 4 years ago that I just started ramping it up significantly in the Golden Age.
I remember when I first got on Heritage, when I got back in the hobby in 2015, I was mostly on eBay. I wasn't on Instagram or YouTube or any of that stuff. But then when I discovered the auction sites like Heritage, I remember for the first time being blown away by a Golden Age book. And it's at this point when I look back, like it's not a big book, but it was an issue of The Thing by Charlton from the 50s, a PCH title. And it was Thing number 16. It was the next to last issue. And really the most common issue in that run. And it's just got like this hillbilly zombie just running. I can't even remember, his eyes popping out, I think. And I was just like, what the hell is this? I've never seen anything like it. So then I dove down the rabbit hole And, you know, ever since then, it's just been golden age. And I still find stuff that I'll come across and I'll be like, I had no idea that existed. There's just so much rare stuff that doesn't come up so often. You are continually surprised in golden age.
Yeah, I remember hearing your story, how you had this crossroads where it was either going to be traditional superhero comics from the Silver Age or pre-code horror, and you sort of went down that route.
Well,
now you're looping around and doing more silver.
Well, my budget, at one point I had a budget, and my choices, I was trying to do superhero stuff, and I was starting to get into PCH pretty good. And I had a budget that at the time was big for me. And I was about to make the biggest purchase I had ever made. And I was considering either getting an X-Men 1, which at the time was not like it is now. It wasn't like massively huge. Yeah, there it is. Thing 16.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
I got you.
Blew me out of the water, man. Yeah.
Atlas.
You know, thanks. Yeah, that's what got me started. And I didn't buy that one. I just saw it at the end of the auction. And so then it was probably 6 to 8 months later, maybe a year later. And so this was the turning point. I was thinking about buying an X-Men 1 or a Thing 12. Thing 12 is the first ever Steve Ditko cover on a comic book. And it was a 6.0. It was a beautiful copy, a pretty tough book. And I was working on a collection of the Thing, which I ended up completing. I got a full run of that title. But it was between X-Men 1 and that. And I went for the pre-code horror book. And I just realized it was such a good decision that then I knew what I was into. And the second stage of that was starting to come to terms with parting with some of the other ones. And that took a turn at a con when I had a Hulk 181 8.5 white pager. And this is like 2017 or something. And yeah, first ever Steve Ditko cover on a comic book right there. And a killer cover. And that's a cover story about a Cinderella story it's a Cinderella parody involving vampires. Really, and he did the story and the art for the inside and the cover. So I got that instead of an X-Men 1. And the next turning point, I sold my Hulk 181 at a con and bought a Terrific 5, which is Golden Age coverage will know that's a classic Schomburg cover. And after that, I just cut everything loose and went straight Golden Age. So now all the non-Golden Age stuff I pick up, I just call it Golden Age fuel. It's just fuel to buy the other stuff. So yeah, you're into Golden Age stuff, Mancave. What kind of Golden Age floats your boat? What's your favorite type of genres and categories?
Well, just like when you start off, you're not sure what you like. So I was just an opportunist. So I had some good girl art from the late 40s, some Atomic era stuff. Pre-code horror, but I've narrowed it down to what really floats my boat, which is a small topic, which is just World War II comics. It covers. Awesome. So yeah, if it's World War II covers, and I actually like Atomic era too. I just bought 3 from you, and I have a bunch of Atomic. One of the first runs I pseudo completed, because you and I know anytime you think you've completed something, you find something you didn't know existed. Yeah. So I have most Atomic Bomb covers from the Atomic era. I don't count Atomic Bomb covers necessarily from more modern, but I enjoy them. Yeah. But I do have a good amount of Atomic Age stuff, but nowadays I avoid, Phantom Girl covers with Matt Baker. As much as I like them, I have to make a decision at some point what I'm going to focus on. And it's basically anything from early 1946 that's World War II related and earlier. And I'll get non-World War II stuff as well. So I do like early DC or any early covers that are 1938 to 40 that are not necessarily World War II as well, but I do focus on World War II related covers. Yes.
Yeah, I think World War II covers is one of the largest Golden Age categories, and there's just so much good stuff from the Timelies to like I know you have some like Superman Action Comics. There's some DC superhero titles. There's a lot of off-brand publishers that do a lot of stuff during World War II. It's a really large category, but it has something for everyone. Now, I'm not into like Timelies or the Hitler covers or stuff like that much, although I love them. But like you, I've decided to focus. So I go with like what I call dark GA, and a lot of those intersect with World War II. So, I mean, World War II is an overriding power among comics themes in from 39 to 45.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a great
And-
category. There's something for everyone in there.
Yeah, and and even some cartoon covers, if they're war related, I'll show you some of those. But for the most part, it's the more serious, or I shouldn't say serious because I like DC covers, which are sometimes goofy, but it's that is what I focus. And I'm trying to complete the Hitler cover run, which has it's 100 comics is what Strayflex and Yaniv has tabulated it. He thinks it might be 101. There's some controversies. There's one or two that people sort of argue about whether it's really Hitler or not, but it's around 100 comics.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I had no idea there was a number.
Yep.
Yeah, but I bet you there's probably a couple stragglers out there, but probably
there probably are. And there's
number.
some, as I said, there are some it sort of looks like Hitler. Is it Hitler? It's not clearly Hitler. And I have 50. I'm fortunate enough to have 53 of them.
Is that covers or is that splash pages too? Because there's some
covers only.
Okay,
splash pages would increase that exponentially, but quite a bit.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of splash covers. My friend Tony, he was selling a book. It was coverless, and I can't remember what cover it was, but he had a big Hitler splash page, and it looked better than the actual cover. So it was really cool.
I just saw a coverless one for $30. It was a Green Hornet, I think number 18. I can't remember, but it has a great Hitler splash page, but it has the cover itself of the actual comic is sort of dull.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of third-party grading and buying Slabbed Golden Age, just for a number of reasons we don't need to go into here. Most people probably know what they are, but the splash pages, there's multiple ones because there's multiple stories in these Golden Age books. The splash pages, the interior splash pages on like Timely's, MLJ's, even like some of the Chesslers, that stuff is so off the wall. And if any of those were covers, they would be right up there as the top two. And a lot of times people don't see them, including me. I'm very ignorant about those because you just don't see them. You see the covers, you see the slabs, you don't see the interior art that often. But occasionally, or often, people on Instagram will post interior splash pages from some of these books, and I'm always blown away. There's so much interior splash art that goes unnoticed or is just unknown in the hobby, and that's a whole other area of cool stuff that people generally don't see, I think.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you mentioned how I got into Golden Age. Well, I was doing that and silver and bronze. I had bronze from a long time ago, and I was picking up a lot of silver. And I'm fortunate enough to have gotten most of my goals in silver Marvel, but now I go sort of where I feel the good deals are. And right now, Golden Age to me mostly is a pretty good deal still, or Silver Age DC, which I have a lot of too. But
all right, Dino, you want to see some books now? We'll see what he's.
Yeah, let's go.
Show us some books, Mancave, that you picked out, and tell us a little about.
Well, I have them all here, but I'll show you some raw ones, just to start on the light side here. Here's a big shot. So Hitler was often getting his face punched. In this one, you have Goring as well, and Hirohito.
Oh yeah.
And you got a big shot cover, and these are fun to read, and right in Der Führer's face. So they.
Yeah, I've never seen that one before.
Here's another one with Uncle Sam taking out Hitler, and Tojo or Hirohito. I don't know exactly which one, top of my head. These are fairly low grade. They weren't too much. I actually got these from Yaniv. And this would be an example of one that's technically a Hitler cover, but it's hard to actually see where's Hitler. You got this interesting statement promoting the army here. Then you look down here, and it's basically kids with masks, one with a Tojo mask and one with a Hitler mask running around this GI. So that's technically a Hitler cover.
All right, cool. Yeah, I've never seen all three of those. I've never seen before.
I've never seen that either.
Super Rabbit #1, War Guilt Trials Courthouse. He has Hitler and Tojo here, taking them in.
Yeah, I've never seen that one either. Real cool.
Yeah. Super Duck #1. So as I said, I don't usually get cartoon comics, but I make the exception for war-related. The cockeyed wonder here, MLJ.
Oh, okay, MLJ. That's cool. Yeah.
And this is a classic one. You may have seen this one. He's strangling Hitler, Sparky Watts, and kicking Goring, who was famous for his medals. He wore tons of medals, and you can see the medals flying off of him.
Oh yeah, and he's got like cowboy boots on. What's the deal with that?
That I'm not sure, but he may, for all we know, he had a weird fetish for Western machoism or
They
something.
tried to make it a Western cover, a Western war cover.
Yeah.
And here's, again, they get very subtle, these Hitler covers. Here's
Oh
one.
yeah, I know this one.
Yeah, it's Daredevil, and where's Hitler? He's in the getting the balls thrown at him along with Mussolini and Hirohito, and this is the only cover with Mickey Mouse and Hitler in the same cover.
I know that one's sort of famous because it's got Hitler and Mickey Mouse on it, and there's such opposite views of things.
Right.
It's cool on the cover together.
It's a nice binary opposition.
Yeah, exactly.
And here's another sort of, Silver Street Comics, and it's just one of these that doesn't even look like our classic comic cover, but they did this sometimes where you got a bunch of comic panels and Hitler's in there giving out medals. And so there's some subtle Hitler covers, and then there's, Ray Boy type stuff, just beautiful.
I think the faucets are still pretty underrated out there.
Yes.
There's so many good faucets, and if you're looking to get into Golden Age or you just don't have a huge budget, you can get killer stuff with faucets, the Captain Marvel family stuff especially, and it's really not that pricey yet, but I've noticed interest is picking up on that stuff.
Faucet comics are a good deal. Someone actually DM'd me and said, I'm interested in getting some superhero Golden Age, but I don't want to spend a lot of money. So I immediately was just like, if you like Captain Marvel, Fawcett comics are a deal.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
And I picked this one fairly recently. This is a pretty famous. This is my last Raw. Now this DS would not like it because it has that most ham-handed, crappy color touch I've ever seen.
Oh boy.
Well, I remember when you got that.
It was a pretty good deal, so I took it.
Hey, I'm not holding against anybody for picking up cool books. I just have the OCD thing where there's a lot of cool books I end up not getting because I can't get past certain OCD things I have about books, and that means I enjoy some books less because I don't get the titles as much. But yeah, that's an awesome book.
And DC actually doesn't have that many Hitler covers. I think there's 8 total. I'd have to count it up, but this is one of probably the most famous one, and it's a great cover, but it's expensive in higher and even low grade. It's pretty expensive.
Yeah, and that's an early.
This is also a first appearance of the Fortress of Solitude. It's called.
Cool.
He has a different name for it that I'm blanking on right now, but it's pretty. I've opened it up and shown it before on a live stream. So those were all my Raw. So I just got my Raw ones right out of the way. 10 Raws.
All right, let's see some Slabbed big boys here.
All right. This one's a great Fawcett cover, Mac Ray Boy. You got Hitler and Tojo being hit with a belt by Captain Marvel Jr., Elvis's favorite hero, by the way. And this is 29, I believe. 29. Yep, 29. Cover's a little faded. It's pretty good grade. But
yeah, not too bad though. I mean, look, these books don't grow on trees, and if you can find a restored, good, complete copy, I mean, it presents well. It's a nice copy.
Yeah, and Mac Rayboy just had some nice detail when he drew people. It's just, I hope that's coming across okay.
Yeah, good.
Let's see. You want me to go category-wise or just pull out random stuff?
Whatever you want to do, man. I just enjoy seeing your collection, and yeah, I mean, this is an awesome category that you're collecting. I didn't realize you had like almost half of the list of 100.
I'm just taking down notes, man. That's all I'm doing.
So this is Young Allies #1.
Love that.
Is classic Red Skull being punched into Hitler by Bucky. And one interesting note about this comic, so it's a Jack Kirby cover. Stanley does the story, some of the story, and originally it was advertised with a different cover where Stalin was also getting attacked.
Yeah.
But then the Germans broke the Russian treaty, I believe, and the treaty that they had, and attacked, and they suddenly people became more sympathetic towards them. So, but it is, just a great.
That's
cover.
one. I'm not a timely collector, but there's a couple timelies that I really do want to own at some point, and that is on my list. I also like that because there's not a ton of Red Skull covers, and there's a handful. I mean, I don't think there's even 20 total.
That's what I got. I got one. That's the Eldon Pettigrew book. It's Marvel Mystery 90 something or 40 something. I'll pull it out when I show it. But yeah, it's
covers is awesome too. So I really like that.
There's actually 20 Golden Age Red Skull covers. I'm surprised there's that many.
I mean, I doubt it. I'm saying there can't be more than that. There's only a handful.
I'd say there's probably less. I mean, you got number 3, you got that one, you got another Young Allies. There's 2 from Young Allies. There's 3 Captain America Red Skull covers, maybe 4.
Well, yeah. Then there's that Cap Weird Tale 74.
All right, that's technically Golden Age, but
yeah, I mean that's after the war.
I call pre-World War. I call that Atomic Age.
Oh, okay.
You're right.
Yeah,
that's a great cover.
Yeah. So yeah, not a lot of them, but I really like that Young Allies.
Here's USA number 5.
Oh wow!
It's
awesome.
It's a great one because it has Winston Churchill being threatened by Mussolini with a knife. You got Tojo and Hitler there, and the Victory Boys are coming into the rescue.
Man, what's the grade on that?
3.5.
Man, that is a good looking copy. The colors are good on that too.
Yeah. Hitler sort of has this funky look on his face.
Yeah, I didn't know you had that one. That's a beautiful book.
That's
awesome. This is probably one of the very first Heritage comic buys I got a number of years ago. So I just bid on it randomly, and
that's awesome. And I know you're not selling any of these, but I bet you when you got it was a good time because that was probably a fraction of what it would go for now because that book's 4 or 5 times as expensive.
Let me show you one. I think you'll appreciate, DS, even though it is really low grade. I mean, it's about as low grade as it gets. It has some color touch, so it's actually restored as well.
All right.
But this comic is hard to get.
Oh, yeah.
Number 2. It's an LB Cole cover. He's cracking the head of, I can't remember who is it. Hitler and Tojo. Whenever it's a general, it's Tojo. It's Hirohito's the Emperor looking. So
yeah, that's a classic. That title, I like Power Comics 3 the best. Obviously, that's the black cover, and that's sort of off the wall, non-topical sort of cover. That's my favorite one. But I think that title only has 4 issues in it.
It's a low print, and it's interesting because you have the Soviet thing on the guy's body, even though it's 1944 when this came out, so it wasn't exactly. But okay, never mind. I'm getting it backwards because they were allies at that point, so it does make sense. Never mind.
It's like the Allies sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Cool.
But this comic is a tough one to get in it. FY, that is actually not in the Gerber guide either. Just it's one of those Gerber no-show comics.
Oh, okay.
If you're into the Gerber.
Yeah. So the Gerber guide, for those who don't know. You can buy Gerber guides, but the Golden Age, it's 2 volumes, and it has this guy, Gerber went around the country. This is pre-internet. And he went around to collectors and looked at collections to try to photograph every Golden Age comic. And he was very successful, and he was able to get pictures of almost every Golden Age comic, but there are some that he didn't find. And so he has them in the books, but they're blank. They're just white spots. And those are notoriously known as the Gerber no-shows. And if you pick one up even nowadays, people will tell you, hey, this is a Gerber no-show. And it's kind of a cool thing because it's kind of an organic type of rarity that this guy who was well-versed and went around the country, even he couldn't come across a copy to get a photograph of. And now we take it for granted with the internet where you can just go on My Comic Shop or anywhere else and just look this stuff up. But before the internet, this guy put together a resource that was unheard of at the time.
It was a monumental task, really, for him. I mean, that's pretty impressive because you and I know pre-internet. How did you? I had no. When I was a kid, it was if you were lucky enough to have a comic shop near you, you'd go to it. But otherwise, I did a lot of flea market wandering, and if I happened to be traveling with my family, you know, I remember getting in Junction, Colorado, and there was this great comic store. My brother and I were.
Yeah, I remember looking at opportunities guides, and they would sometimes have pictures in them, and I would look through catalogs inside comics or at the comic store, or just see old stuff that the comic shop had, and that's the only way to find stuff back then. And you know, the internet. I was how old was you know, like when I graduated high school in 1994, there was no internet. And then I remember soon after getting out of high school, there was an internet. And so my whole growing up, there's no internet, and people now take it for granted. You can just look up everything. But back then, you could look up anything. And the Gerber guides have a historical nature when you think about what this guy did. And there's still good references to have, because I'll still pull them out. They're massive and they're heavy.
Oh, yeah.
Through them, and you can, it's still, there's something to be said for flipping through a book that has the golden age.
You just go down a rabbit hole, and they have, for people don't know, he had the whole Marvel silver and bronze as well up until I can't remember 1982 maybe. But unfortunately he never did the DC. I'm not sure if he didn't like DC or he just was old and tired of it or whatever. But there's probably a story behind that I don't know. Here we got Green Hornet, and this is a Hitler poster, so that's still technically a Hitler cover.
Oh yeah, that definitely counts.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's got like multiple swastikas on that cover too. There's like 3 that I see.
Yep.
I like the V for victory. Yeah, that's a good one. What's your grade on that one?
This is a 3.5.
Yeah, nice.
I do have the first swastika cover. I don't have it nearby, but that's an interesting one.
Yeah, what is that?
It's Top Notch number 2, I believe.
What is it?
Or 3. Top Notch number 2 or 3.
Oh yeah, Top Notch. It's Top Notch. Yeah.
I think it's 2 or 3. I know
the one you're talking about.
Yeah. And the second one, anybody know the second swastika? Marvel Comics 4, Marvel Mystery Comics 4.
Yeah, I know that's the one. I'm not well versed in the Nazi covers, but I know that's the first Nazi flag on a cover.
Yep.
But also the second overall swastika on a cover.
Yep.
Okay.
And
that's the one.
Leave it to DS. I'm not well versed, but I know it's the first flag.
You should have saw him on the Promise show. Just fire. He's like, yeah, I think it's, and he's like this, and this, just rattling stuff off.
Well, Dino, I seem well versed here amongst the 3 of us right now, but when I'm talking to Golden Age collectors, I'm like, you know, an amateur, honestly.
Yeah. Well, you have to be careful not to
research this stuff, so I'm familiar with a lot of it anyway. But.
Yeah, you've been on Golden Guys long enough. You've learned a lot, even if you didn't, you know, if it wasn't
I have gained more from that show than I have put forth in it. Honestly, I learned something from my.
I learned. Yeah, when I watch that, I almost always watch a rerun. That's just not a good time for me. And I learned something every time, even about things I think I know a lot about. Then I learned something new about that. Here's another classic National Comics, number 39.
Yeah, I almost bought a National Comics. It was the one with Uncle Sam, and was he kicking over the Nazi symbol? Was that the one? It was like a building. It looked like a Nazi symbol, maybe.
I mean, they're almost all Uncle Sam related. So I'm not the exact one you're describing doesn't come up to my head, but there's a few famous ones. There's the one where he's underwater and there's a ship, and then there's the skeleton holding a
National Comics 16 is where Uncle Sam is fighting a German skeleton, and they're massively advanced. And the German skeleton, he's wearing one of those World War I like Kaiser helmets with the spike on it. He's holding a battleship in his hands, and they're like fist fighting in the water. National 16. I saw a 4.0 white pager at a con, and like first booth I went to Friday, right when it opened. And I'm like, man, that's a good book. I should buy that. Let me think about it for like 10 minutes. I did a lap. I came back. I'm like, yes, I'll buy it. I went back and it was gone. And I should have known a book like that's not going to stick around. And then later on, I met up with a friend of mine to have coffee. and we were showing each other the books we picked up, and he's the one that picked that book up, and I was like, man, that's my book. I was almost gonna buy that. You got it right. So I'm glad he got it. But yeah, that's my favorite National 16. I just picked up the National Comics, National 5.
I lied. It was Uncle Sam cover. Uncle Sam.
That's
that's
one of
that's a classic, you know. Yeah.
I should have bought it. I wanted too much, so I was like,
that's Uncle Sam Quarterly, and that's there's one on eBay for $1,300 a raw, which I keep looking at, thinking maybe I'll pull the trigger. Now that I'm saying it, it might probably be gone tomorrow, but it's hard to buying raw comics on eBay. If I don't know the person, I'm a little
wary
for pricey. If it's not that pricey, I'll take my chances. But for $1,300, but I do have the other Uncle Sam Quarterly, which is this one.
Ooh, look at you!
Yeah, that's a quality publication, and the early issues have Lou Fine, and then I think Reed Crandall after that did a ton of art on the quality titles.
This is Al Bryant, this particular one, and it's funny because DS, when you asked me if I want to be on this, my guy at the vintage store said, "Hey, I have this," and I was like, "All right." So I literally just bought this 2 days ago.
Oh yeah, well that's perfect for the show. I'm glad that you get to show it off here. That's awesome.
Yeah,
nice.
And another one I bought but I don't have yet is Mystic Comics #9.
All right, I got that for you.
The Destroyer cover.
Yep. Let's do this real quick.
Is that the one with the Iron Maiden?
Yes, it's the one with the Iron Maiden. The other one's the one with like the chest opening up. It's like number. Yeah. It's 9 and 8, I believe.
You said Mystic 9?
Yeah.
This one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not the Iron Maiden, but it's close.
It's like she's trapped. Yeah, I mean a fire maiden.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what's going on there, but it's badass. I think the Destroyer is the best looking Golden Age superhero.
Yeah. Stanley's first hero creation. And there was a half-hearted attempt to resurrect him in the Invaders series in the 1970s, but I don't think they put a good enough effort in it, personally.
No, the Invaders, the Bronze Age Invaders stuff has really picked up, and there's a lot of interest in those. I think people are recognizing that they like Golden Age. You know, the prices have brought a lot of stuff to the forefront in the comic hobby, and Golden Age in particular. And I think it's generated a lot of interest in that Bronze Age Invaders run, which has some keys in it, some first appearances of people. And it's a really cool title. And it even the annual one has a Schomburg cover on it, one of his later.
Yeah, I think that's his last. That's like one of his last covers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so Invaders is real cool. Yeah.
And All Winners #4 is Giant Size Invaders #1, which is the first appearance. First is like Invaders #1. Their first appearance was Avengers 74, but Giant Size Invaders is a homage to All Winners #4. This is a very low grade Captain America 36, but it presents pretty nice still. And it has
is that a pedigree?
Yep.
Look at that.
It's Cookville.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, it's beat up. And
yeah, but it presents well. That's a cool copy.
And so it's Captain America holding onto a plane, grabbing Hitler out of the Jeep. I think it's a great. There's, as I said, there's 3 Captain America comics with Hitler. Number 1, 2, and that one. And that was a Schoenberg. Here's another Schoenberg. I bit the bullet, and I think DS, I think you actually even talked about this comic on Comic Link a while back when it was on, and I really was hesitant to buy it, but it doesn't come up too often. So
oh yeah, that's a real good one.
PGX, it's a PGX though, so God only knows. You know, it has a lot of fading on the edges, a little water staining. So
mid-grade PGX, I hate to say it, I would say it's probably around there. It's not like you're getting like an 8.0. Yeah, I'd be real worried. I mean, when it comes to GA, I think mid-grade is decent.
You know, the way I looked at it, if it went down to 3.5, I would still be okay.
Yeah, right.
Age, it's not as.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like this. Leave it in that slab, and then you'll never know. It's like if you feel like something's wrong with you, if you don't go to the doctor, you're fine. Yeah. Then nobody will tell you what's wrong, and you can find it.
That's right. And if you have a home invasion, you can use that as a weapon. So I mean, that's fine.
Right. That's a real cool book. Yeah.
I got this in Zip Comics 33 at the same one, and those are both PGX, but they're both hard to get. You know, Zip Comics number 33. Yes, it's a famous firing squad, green cover, firing squad, nurses lined up.
Yeah, I know that one. Yeah, yeah.
It's a pretty hard to get zip comics. Pretty,
yeah. Well, I think all the MLJs are tough compared to other Golden Age, especially like Timely's or Needlers or something. But Zip 32 is on my list. Zip 32 is the Nazi skeletons with the tank.
Yes.
I think that's 32. That one.
They have such. MLJ has some great covers. I mean, it really.
And I picked up.
Yep.
That's 30.
Show a book too.
There's 33.
Yep.
And you can show yours book off, and we can do this.
Oh yeah, you showed me that one
so many times already, but whatever. I don't care. I'll show it
Such a
again.
great cover.
Yeah, Zip 22, and yeah, this is a rare one. I mean, the MLGs are all tough, but this one's just so cool. It's a World War II cover, but it intersects with the dark GA category that I like. So, and again, this is low.
He's jumping through the V for victory in a flaming city there.
Yeah. He's got a cool old school football ad on the back too.
And then this is, you said 32, right? You were talking about 32. This is 32.
Yeah, that one.
So here's 32.
Nice.
That one, I bid on a 6.0. I think I bid like $6,000 on a 6.0 a few months back on Comic Link or Comic Connect. I thought that was strong, but I missed it by a good bit, and I didn't want to go nuts on it. But
here's another. Your V for victory reminded me of this Spy Smasher.
Yeah, with
Hitler, Hirohito, and Mussolini.
Okay, so
they
you
all
guys
appear together quite a bit.
You guys are showing off stuff. I'll show off some stuff too. I only have two, but it's cool. It's cool. So this is the. I guess I'll show this one off before I show the bigger one off. So I got this for a pretty good deal. This is that real life comics with the. Yeah. So I got a 3.0 on it. I got it for dirt cheap. Great.
That's a really cool book.
Yeah.
Show the real life that I did. You pull that one up? The real life that I don't have yet. It's a famous Hitler.
Yeah. I can
cover.
It's. Give me 1 second.
It's one of the, when you think of Hitler covers, real life. I think it's number 3.
Yeah, I didn't. Did I do that? I might not have pulled through. I pulled the headline. I didn't pull the real life.
Headline is one of those other big ones. When that that shows up, it's always.
Yeah, I remember Dino when you got that, and that's hard to put a value on. It's hard to price these things, but I remember you told me what you paid, and at that price, it's a slam dunk guarantee. Pick it up, and you got a good deal on that book.
Yeah. Spy Smasher.
This nice Crosshairs cover.
Yeah, that's dope. That's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Did Spy Smasher kill Hitler? Again, it's a 1.8, but it presents nicely. I mean.
And then here, I'll swap you two. And then I picked this one up. This is the pedigree I picked up. So we talked about Red Skull earlier in the show. So this is Marvel Comics 45, and it's got. It's the only. I think it's the only Marvel.
It is the only Marvel Comics with Red Skull. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's an Eldon pedigree. I mean, I was talking to Matt Nelson, who was actually on the last show, and I was like, "Hey, can we do something about the 1.5? Like, you think?" He goes, "Dude, it's brittle." So the cover's on, but it's just but it looks great. Like, I mean, look at the colors. I mean, it's just a cover. The spine's just terrible on it. So
the red. Look, the colors on that thing are amazing because, as most of you probably know, the red fades first as it goes to the spectrum: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and red goes first. And that red looks as bright as it did the day it was printed. I mean, that was a red. Yeah,
the pages may be brittle, but you have it in a slab. And no one's going to see them anyway.
Oh, and it's even got the certificate of Comic Link. So
oh yeah, the Comic Link sticker. You love that? I gotta love those.
Well, I talked to it's funny when I bought this book. I talked to DS and a couple of GA guys, and they were like, you gotta snag it. I mean, it's like I paid. I guess should I say DS how much I paid for it?
Well, that's up to you, but I think you got a deal on it.
Okay, I'll just say I got a deal on it.
If DS says you got a deal, you got a deal.
Yeah.
I mean, look, these books are hard to find, and especially a timely Red Skull cover that looks that presentable is not a cheap book to get. Nice little junior football cover with Hitler.
Yep.
Awesome. I do want to. I want to shout out. Look at us. Our first super chat. James Lynn, awesome books. I got the Captain America 47 CGC 3.5 restored. How do you guys feel about purple covers?
I'm happy with purple. DS not so much.
Talking about the purple label. You know, if I'll tell you what, if CGC changed their restored label from purple just to blue and put a note, it would change the whole market on restored books because a lot of people just don't want that purple label, but
just conserve it.
Would be much more coveted if they just got rid of the purple on the label.
It's so funny that restored is so vilified now when people went out of the way to get them restored before CGC existed. It was actually sought after to get something that was actually looking a little.
I know, and because of CGC, we've even gained an acronym, that PLOD, the PLOD, the Purple Label of Death. Is
this is
a phrase that's used.
This is a big grade here, 8.5. So there we got a high grade one.
Nice.
And this is great. Chief Wahoo shooting Hitler in the ass with a bow and arrow.
Nice.
I like the date on the bag up there, 1942, and then it has a 43 engine style word bubble. Yeah, cool.
Yep. They were relentless in mocking Hitler here. Joe Palooka, number 2.
With the Gatling.
Yeah, making him dance.
Very nice.
A lot of big shot comics with the funny Hitler titles. This one, Hitler is in a U-boat sinking. And this guy's like, reel the rats in, Sparky. I'll step on him. And he can look at his oversized shoes.
Yeah, I like that's a Hitler cover and a U-boat cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like U-boat covers a lot. I'm a big fan of U-boats. I like submarine movies a lot. So anything with a sub on it as a comic, I like.
He's painting and he needs some bristles for his brush. So he's plucking Hitler's mustache for bristles.
That's dope. That's cool.
And you got the era correct racist Asian.
Oh, yeah. The way Asians and blacks are represented in Golden Age is
well, you know, and a lot of people don't get it, but look, it's a reminder of a time past before we've progressed. You got to be reminded of the bad times lest you repeat them.
Right.
You know? And
some people look at it and go, "Oh, isn't that horrible? I would never own that." And I look at it as, look how we've improved. I mean, look how the world.
Yeah, I mean, history.
So is it perfect?
History is what it is, and you've got to recognize the good and the bad, and it just is what it is.
I mean, just for example, this is Jack Kirby. This is a Jack Kirby cover, and if you look at how the African American is presented there in the one of the 4 guys sitting there, harmonic. He's harmonic. I forget his name. I used to know all 4 of them. And Jack Kirby's the guy who basically along with Stan Lee, invented Black Panther. You know, very progressive, and he was criticized for that. And at some point, they even said more white people have to be in the comics, so they put a bunch of Ku Klux Klanners in it and said, "Is that good?" Yeah. You know? So, you know, there's progress. I look at it that way. I agree.
All right, show us a couple more, and then I want to see some. We got some books that are on your want list that you're going after. And show some of those.
Let me show a nice big one here that I got from Stray Flex in here. Super Snipe. These are hard to come by.
Super Snipes are tough to come by.
This guy is about to get a little sort of a Koopy doll action, you know. This is number 9. Number 8 is also hard to get. It's where they're all being hustled into the fiery pit of hell. Hirohito.
Well, I think we've got a picture to show of that.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I've lost a few times trying to get that one. I mean,
I remember there was one con I was at, and you know, Golden Age collectors, when you're at a con, there's that one book that's super rare or super awesome, and everybody sees it, and then the word spreads about who picked it up. And I remember there was like an 8.0 of this at one con, and that was the talk of the GA community at that con. And then somebody that we know picked it up and we're like, "Oh, did you see so-and-so got that Super Snipe, or did you see the Super Snipe so-and-so got?" And that was like, that was the book at that con, was an 8.0 of this. And it's the 3 of them being thrown down into hell with that devil figure on it. And it's a rare book, and it's just super cool.
Yeah.
So we can go through, let's go through some of yours. So we'll do this, and then we'll do kind of our own marker.
Yeah, so anybody out there have one, let me know.
let me go in the back closet here. I'll pull out.
Yeah.
So we have, Fantastic Comics 22, right?
Yeah. So this one, these are all books that Man Cave told me he were on his want list as Hitler covers. So I picked out some of the ones I thought would be fun to show. This one, it's like the woman's being pushed into an oven, and the oven is the shape of Hitler's head, and Samson is crashing through it and busting it up. And it's a very rare book, and it's very cool. It's one of my favorite all-time Hitler covers, and I'm only aware of it over the last year.
And just for a side to side, I do have 21 here.
Oh, sorry. There you go.
Oh, yeah. All right, so 21 and 22 back-to-back Hitler covers.
Yep. And it is a great cover as well.
Yeah.
Samson breaking the chains, rescuing the boy.
Wow.
And that's a Fox publication. Fox books are some of the most coveted today of Golden Age books because
I got this from Jeff, Golden Age Guru.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Yeah.
Kavi NYC said, "Hey, did you see he has that on his claim sale?" And I was like, I went, claimed it.
Yeah.
This is a book me and DS were talking about before the show. I've never seen this book. I mean, great comics, number 3. I've just never seen this book. I mean, I've seen a lot of books. I try to follow as much on Instagram and GA as possible, but I've never seen this book. Like, rare.
The other one that's super rare, I don't know if you put it on DS, it's Triumph Comics number.
I don't think I did.
That one is super rare.
Triumph Comics, what is it?
Comics 3 is Hitler being thrown into hell. It almost has I don't know, an Albrecht Dürer feel to it. It almost has like a Renaissance art feel to this.
Oh, it's a beautiful cover. It's
really rare, and a couple of these have come up.
Number 7.
And it goes for a lot of money. This is a highly coveted Golden Age book, and I pulled this off of Heritage. I don't even know what that 8.0 went for. I don't know what it would go for today, but it would be a 5-figure book easily.
Yeah,
well over the 5 figures for this book. And I don't know. That's Man Cave. If I find one, I will let you know. But
let me know.
A lot of competition anytime one of those is in an auction.
Yeah,
let's do this, and I can do this, and I am right there, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how well that picture.
That's a tough one to find.
So this is a Canadian publisher, right?
I believe, yes.
Yeah, because it has Nelvana. Nelvana is a Canadian superhero. This is it's got that Canadian white look to it.
Yeah, it does.
And Nelvana is a Canadian superhero. And I'm not sure I've seen that particular issue before, but yeah, that's a good Hitler cover there.
I have not seen it on auction.
Wow.
No, I've never seen it before at all, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for that one. I don't think I've ever seen it.
So we got this, and then let's move on to, let's see what we got here. Boom, boom, boom. So we talked about this, great comics. Let's talk about, look at this, headline number 8.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. Yeah. That was on auction pretty recently.
Yeah, I saw Heritage, right? Was it Heritage?
Yeah, it went for a lot. I
didn't
even go for it. I wasn't in the right situation to go for it, and I think it was pretty high grade. So, or was it? I actually don't remember.
Yeah, so it's Hitler coming out of a genie bottle there or whatever, and it just such a bizarre depiction of Hitler on a cover. Really, really cool. It's just, I don't know. It's not like
you see why it's right up your alley, DS. It looks like a pre-code horror meets World War II.
If I had a chance, I'd be all over this. But when it comes up for an auction, I'm not competing with Hitler for this.
Are you ready? I'll do a little promo for Heritage because Brian told us last time. If you don't have the cash, you can put up your collection as collateral. So just say.
Yeah, that's true.
So we have this. We have Little Marvel Mystery Comics number 46, which is a great bondage cover, obviously too.
That comic's gotten a lot more popular recently. There was one on eBay for the longest time. I kept coming close to pulling the trigger, but it had a big triangle rip right next to Hitler's neck. Do you know? Did you see that one, DS?
Yeah, that was it was like a 2.0, and it had like a big chunk missing right by Hitler. Yeah,
it didn't actually get into Hitler's head, so I was but it took the swastika away. It was a little.
I mean,
I would buy it now. If I could go back, I would actually buy it.
What did they want for it?
Book or something, but it was too close to the Hitler figure on this. I know the way it was out there for a while, and then it got bought.
Yeah, it had a triangle trunk, and right when two of them sold for a good amount on Comic Link and Heritage, it disappeared immediately
Of
from
course.
eBay.
Of course. And then we got we talked about Mystic 9, but this is Mystic 7.
That's the one with the trunk that I told you about. Yeah, that's
that's real cool.
This is a Diaz was talking about Speed 16 and how this is like a pulp size or a digest size, right?
Yeah.
So it looks confusing.
It's like a half size, and it's really
it's
thick.
one of the what do they call them? There's a word for it.
Pocket digest or something?
Pocket digest, yeah. Pocket comic, I guess.
We already talked about this is Super Snipe number 8.
Yeah, that
obviously.
pocket comic. One of the interesting things about that's one of the few where Hitler's like leading the troops type of cover. I think the other one would be USA number 2,
which is there. Look at that. I'm on top of things. USA number 2. Perfect. So this is USA number 2, and then we're ending with here's Weird Comics number 20.
Yeah, that's another scarce one, and it has Churchill on it. It's
again, this is a Fox book. Fox books are so rare and so cool and so coveted. People outside of Golden Age wouldn't know them, but if you're in Golden Age, this genre of books, you know how hard Fox books are to come by.
Yeah,
and some of them just you never see. And this is a Fox book. Fox books are awesome. This one in particular is a great cover.
Perfect.
Yeah, real.
We're gonna end this and we're gonna roll into the market report here.
Well, I got one.
Oh, okay.
You want to see one that I want to see Man Cave's favorite Hitler cover?
Yes. Sorry, yes.
It's a bit of a Frankenstein version, but I'm glad to have it.
All right. Anyway. I've been waiting all week to see this book.
Oh boy.
There it is.
The Hitler cover. You know, the colors are a little faded. It has restoration for sure. It's not a blue label, but this is a tough one to get. And
so we talk about this on Flipside a lot too. It's like when you have like comic books, Cap 1, Hawk 1, Detective Comics 27, purple labels are out the window. Who cares? It's like at the end of the day, when you have a big boy book like that, it's like purple label be damned. You're pulling the trigger.
But I mean, look, the colors on that look good. I mean, that is a good copy, and man, congrats for owning that. I remember when you got that, and I've literally been waiting all week to see that book in this show, and I'm not a timely guy. That book is so historic and so awesome, and there's so much about it. It's like, I mean, it's one of the best comic books of all time.
And we've probably stated on many shows, but it changed comic industry at the time.
Can you say what the notes say on the restoration?
Sure. It says it is a color touch, pieces added, tear seals, reinforced, reglossed.
Oh, tail seals. Okay. Tear seals aren't that big of a deal, but color touch.
Yeah, it has some color touch, but
whatever.
It's not extremely obvious.
Yeah.
It's
And then James talks about, is there any all winners to look for?
All winners Hitler covers or just in general? Oh, well,
probably Hitler covers.
I do have an all winners right here.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man, nice.
This is number 6.
Wow. And
they're stepping on the heads of the 3 guys.
Well, who did the cover on that one? Is that an Avison cover?
This is Bill Everett and Eddie Robin. I'm sorry, no, Al Avison. You got it. Cover art. Yep.
Yeah.
Bill Everett interiors.
Very nice.
This was the funny story behind this one. I got this on auction, and at some point I heard about Strayflex, and I was looking through his old pictures. He had this exact book, so I sent him a message saying, "Hey, I own your book now." so then he's like, "Oh, you like?" And I was like, "Yeah, I like Hitler covers." And then he's like, "That was it, man. I've known him
he's got a ton of good ones also."
So I just saw it on his, and I also have the other all winners I have not on me is the one that's the homage to the Giant Size Invaders 1 homage cover with Whizzer and Destroyer on it too.
Perfect.
Good stuff. Yeah, I like Golden Age books. Oftentimes, these books are so scarce that a lot of times a book I pick up, somebody be like, "Hey, that's my old copy." That's happened twice this week. And sometimes I'll see my old copies of books out there. Somebody will pick it up and it'll be my old copy. I remember my Black Cat Mystery 50, that classic PCH cover. My copy is on eBay right now, and the guy's running it over and over for auction with a starting bid of 20 grand, which is way more than I sold it for, but he hasn't gotten a bid yet. But that's my old book. It's cool to see out there. I hope he gets it. You know,
there's few enough out there. I showed my AF-15 that I used to have, and someone DM'd me, said, "Hey, that's mine now."
Oh boy!
I was like,
"Yeah, awesome."
Well, thanks. You know, it's like, you want to sell it back? Yeah, forget it.
And then no, that's awesome.
That price is gone.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah,
well, I saw a 5.0 sold tonight on Comic Connect for $39,000. It was a CBCS old holder CBCS 5.0 universal, not restored or anything, for 39 grand, and that seemed low for this market.
That is low for what they have been going for, because
you know, I talked about it with a couple of people, and they were saying it's because it's CBCS and not CGC, and I mean maybe, but that's, I mean, it must be that, but I mean that seems low for, that's like what 3.0s or 3.5s are seem like they're going for. That seems like a good price.
I don't buy that DS if there's enough people out there trying to get it.
And I'm in the same boat. Like modern, like I do a lot of moderns too, so I get the CGC CBCS debate, and I can see it on moderns. But when it comes to iconic books, there shouldn't be that big of a discount, we'll say, between CBCS. I can see maybe a little bit, but not that much. I mean,
to me, they do a reasonably good job. They both hit or miss sometimes, you know.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest problem, and I know this is insubstantial, but I like to have a good holder for my art, and the old CBCS holders are crap.
I agree with that.
I trust their grading.
I don't even like the middle-aged CGC holders. You know what I mean?
I don't like those either. But the new CBCS holders are great. Really, I have no problem with them. So I'm good with either company now. Both holders
they've gotten it together. I'm with you.
Good. I remember the old ones. You could like put your fingernails and just like spread it apart. It's like, oh boy.
I've done that. I've actually just ripped open slabs on some people's channels. Not valuable ones.
Yeah, that's funny. So here we go. Let's go to this market report, and let's kind of, I want everybody's kind of insight on what people think, because this is this, you know, what we do is this is kind of like the inaugural version of it. We take heritage numbers, some eBay, some Comic Connect, so it's basically a different flavor from Flipside. It's trying to look at other places. So what we can do is let's roll it off. Avengers 1.0 heritage.
Yeah, so I pulled this because you know, in Silver Age, I've been investing in Silver Age books recently, and I did buy an Avengers 1. For the Silver Age keys, I feel like the Strange Tales 110 and the Avengers 1 are two books that really haven't moved with the market yet, and there's a lot of room to grow. Yep. And then I see this one sold recently, a 1.0, and yes, it doesn't have any notes. It's just straight up beat up 1.0, but it's a decent copy. Sold for $2,500. This book is starting to generate some interest, and I think that's an impressive sale, and I think it's starting to show that the back end of the big keys are starting to move. Now, this is not a first appearance, but it's just this is a legit, awesome Silver Age book to own.
It's a first appearance of a group. That's a form of a first appearance.
Well, you don't need to convince me.
Raven of Bold 28 is not a cheap comic because it's the first appearance of the Justice League of America.
Yeah.
That's not a
this is an impressive sale. $2,500 for a 1.0.
That is
starting to move. That was an impressive sale, so that's why I threw that on there. And I'm happy to see I bought a 4.0 recently.
A friend of mine bought probably like a 1.5 that for a lot cheaper than that just a few months ago.
Yeah, it's starting to move. I was just happy to see that sale, and I thought it was a legit good, nice high price. And it's creamed off white too, so it's not ideal page quality, but good sale there.
Perfect. It's a great cover. I mean, it should be.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, this one. So this is one of the iconic PCH covers. It's technically a crime, but it's so gruesome. It's a horror cover. One of the most recognizable horror covers in the golden age in PCH in the 50s. I think this is it's a 7.0 white pager. I think this price is low. Honestly, I think this is a really good price for this book. Yeah, there's a lot of them out there, but you don't usually see high grades, and you don't ever see white pages. 7.0 white pager, I think that's a good price. Yeah, that's a really nice example of that book, and you don't usually see a white pager. So yeah, congrats to the buyer of that. Solid price, but yeah, worth it.
Perfect. Silver Surfer flying off the shelves at 8.5.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, when a common Silver Age book in 8.5 is going for 10.7, I feel like we should just show it. You know what I mean? Like, I sold mine. Look, I had a 7.0 white pager I just sold recently within the last week or so, because the prices have gotten to a point where I feel like I can get rid of it at that price now, and they're still moving. Like 10 grand for this book. Yeah, hot book, but I mean, it probably deserves it. It's a first appearance. It's just later in the Silver Age, so it's much more common. But yeah.
DS, do you have any like this? I have a Wiz Comics, I think number 8, 1.0 white pages.
No, I don't have any like that. I
have a 1.0 white pages from 1940.
No, I had a whole bunch of white page Golden Age books, and they're all sold. I don't think I have a single white page Golden Age book at this point. Yeah.
Nice. Here's Fight Comics.
My God. I saw this DS, and we were talking about it earlier, and I'm thinking, I wasn't even really sort of looking to go for it. I thought it was going to go for a lot more, so I was like, knowing what it went for, I'm a little annoyed.
No, boy.
I'll tell you, look, this is Mancavecomic1, so it's the first of a very well-known title. I think it's an Eisner cover. I'm not 100% on that.
Look at that red cover, man. It's
a beautiful copy. It's a 4.5, and I think somebody got a steal on this, $1,600. I think that's absolutely steal on this.
I wish you hadn't told me what this sold for. I would have been blissfully ignorant.
Well, I mean, I was looking up stuff to go on the market report, and I was like, I got to show this because I think this is a steal. There were a couple auctions recently, especially this might have been the Mother's Day auction on Sunday.
Yeah, it was just last Sunday. Yep.
I bought 2 books that night. I feel like everything was going low and overlooked, and this one I think is a steal.
I bit the bullet and got that ASM 3 on that one. 3.5. Probably overspent. But...
Dude, they got one Memorial Day too.
Overspend on a Silver Age ASM for a short time before you're then underpaid on it. So.
Yeah, I have almost. It's like that one nagging key I didn't have, and I was just like, I'm gonna get this.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I felt bad showing you the one I got, because I know you're looking. I just bought it on a whim, sort of, but whatever.
Yeah, and I'm sure you got a better deal than me, but it's all good, brother.
Yeah, and Heritage messes up too. It's like eBay. It's like running eBay auctions and Mother's Day, Memorial Day. It's like you don't do that July 4th. It's like, come on, if it's on a Sunday, don't run an auction, man.
Sunday night on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Before the Promise Collection signature auction, which I know a lot of Golden Age guys are saving up for, right after like a big Connect or Comic Link auction, and it's wedged in there on a Mother's Day night on a Sunday. And I bought a National Comics 5. I felt like I got a steal on that. I bought an ASM 3, which admittedly I paid a lot of money for, but I feel like I got a deal on it. And this is another one.
You know what I tried to get on that auction, and I thought I won it. I thought I was bidding for it, and there was some malfunction or something. Was the Fight Comics from 1945, where the big condor is about to get the woman in bondage, and there's the Nazi behind her. Do you know which one I'm talking about, DS? It might be Fight or Wings,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's based on a pulp cover. That's one of the more
I love that cover, and I said I'm gonna go aggressively after it, and I thought I'd won it, and then I hadn't. I was so annoyed.
Yeah, no, that's a real good one. That's based on a pulp cover too.
Yeah.
And that's one of the better ones in that era range.
I did get one on that auction, the LB Cole Gerber No Show, where they're shooting a Japanese plane down. It's a blue cover.
Yeah, Contact Comics.
Yeah.
Is it 2 or Flight? Is it a Flight?
I think it's Contact 2. It's 2 or 3.
Is it the black one?
It's not black. It's like a blue, that cobalt blue.
Yeah.
Planes, that one.
Oh yeah, Contact.
Yep. Sorry. Yeah, this one. There you go. Let me blow it up. Sorry.
A Gerber No Show.
I didn't realize that was a Gerber No Show. Yeah, I don't see that one too often, actually.
Yeah, it's an LB Cole war comic, and he does some great war covers, and I just
Marines, where he's like the guy's flamethrowing everybody. It's dope. LB Cole, just good stuff.
Yeah, I like that, man. That's a cool one. Yeah, nice pickup.
And then we got this is Green Lantern #1, which is
Yeah, so I pulled this just to show that DC is not getting any love. I think the market, everybody's talking about how hot the market is. It's been split into two markets, and it's mainly because of the MCU and not because of the specific characters or teams or movies in the MCU. But the MCU has brought Marvel Comics into the forefront of popular culture in a way that DC Comics is not. And you're seeing a divergence of the two groups of books. And any other similar Marvel key in an 8.5 would go for way more than $7,500. This is Green Lantern #1, and it's $7,500 for an 8.5. That's an insane cheap for this.
That's cheap.
And you're talking about Brave and Bold, Justice League 1, the checkerboard cover. It's still, when they're sitting at the table, that's an undervalued key too. I mean, it's
I mean, even Showcase 22. Even if you look at Showcase 4. The first Silver Age Flash, compare that to like AF-15, it pales in comparison. But I mean, imagine an 8.5 of, and this is 1960, so this is like pre-Marvel Silver Age keys, really. And an 8.5 is insanely high on this book, and 7,500. I feel like that's just shows the difference between Marvel and DC right now in this market. And unless DC starts doing good movies, that's not going to change because investors coming into the market are coming in to go after certain things, and what they think is the thing to go after is Marvel, because Marvel is so prevalent in the culture because of the MCU. It's just an overriding sentiment for Marvel. That's why this just shows that to me.
Now, this comic, I will say, is probably not one of my favorite Gilkins. Now, Showcase 22, if that went for cheap, then I'd be more surprised. But
yeah, I mean, that's
a better cover.
I think this cover sucks, in my opinion, but that's the cover it has, so that's the cover we get, and it's still Green Lantern 1, whatever. So
a high grade.
Here we go. Mass Comics 2.
Yeah, a little bit low on this.
Yeah.
Mask 1 and 2, I think, are two of the greatest covers from the Golden Age. They've exploded in price over the last couple of years. Settled down a little bit, but they're not easy books to come by, and they are awesome. And I thought this was a little low, a 1.8. It's got issues, but I mean, it's a 1.8, but it has no notes. It's just rough. And 3,400, I think somebody got a pretty good deal on that. I think that's easily 1,000 under what I think it's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a shot at one of these. I think it was number 2. The guy wanted like 1,500 for it, and it was raw. And I was like, I like you, man, Cave. I was like, ugh. I was like, it's raw. I don't know what's wrong. Like I kind of shot
a little
away.
risk.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
I need a mask too. I almost bid on that one, but and this is ironic because the reason I didn't bid on that is because of the chunk missing off the top.
Mm-hmm.
And then I bought one of these with a chunk missing off the bottom. So I mean, who am I to turn down two because of a chunk missing? But I'm very patient these days, so I'll get more chances at it. But I do need a mask too, and that would have paired nicely with this. But I'll get one. Yeah, so masks.
The fairies to a flame, like moths to a flame cover.
That's funny. That's funny. You could just had them both. That would have been sisters. It's like,
I know. I'll hold out. I'm patient. I want to get I really want a max 2.5 is what I want.
Here we go. And this is a pedigree cover, and $2,000 roughly. It's cheap, I think, for a pedigree cover for Baker.
Copy. It's one of the most well-known pedigrees for Golden Age books. And a beautiful copy, a Matt Baker cover.
Yep.
I mean, the 7.0 pedigree Baker for under $2,000. I think
you could almost call that a Hitler cover. Doesn't that guy sort of look like Hitler?
Yeah, hey, Hitler cover with an octopus and a dame.
Well, and the funny thing is me and Nico were talking about this, is that Baker covers are like, it's weird. Like Baker covers, like Cinderella 12 and all these iconic Baker covers, authentic police cases, crime covers. It's like they don't resell that great. It's like Baker people are like a small niche kind of people, and it's just like it's either you like it or you don't, and it's either you're gonna get a decent resale value or you don't. It's weird. It's like, and Baker makes great art, and it just goes to the wayside sometimes.
And I think that's what held the price down on this. It's not your wheelhouse Baker GGA cover.
Yeah.
But if you just forget about this being a Baker, okay? Just look at it for what it is. It's an awesome book. It's a really cool cover. It's a 7.0. pedigree copy for under $2,000. I mean, I feel like that's a deal. Yes, it's not your wheelhouse Baker GGA cover, but I think that's a good price. Whoever bought that is going to be very pleased to own that. It's a really tough. That's an awesome copy.
Yeah, very cool. This is moving on. Strange Tales 169.92.
Yeah, so the rumors I think are true. The new Doctor Strange movie is going to have Brother Voodoo in it. It's starting to become known, and there's interest in this book is picking up. And I saw a 9.8 just sold for over $20,000. This 9.2 for $2,160 is a huge jump in price. I mean, 9.2s last month were selling for I don't know, $1,000 or maybe even a little under.
Yep.
And now it's $2,160 for a 9.2.
I remember
that is defining a high grade. I have an 8.0 that I'm holding.
Yeah.
I had a 9.4 I sold last year, but this book is really picking up. That's an impressive sale, and it's a tough book.
I was just checking what I have. I have an 8.0, which I bought raw years ago.
Yeah, I remember.
I mean, out of a long box.
Yeah.
I've had 5 of these. I had a 9.4 I bought raw on eBay, and I sold that. I've had 2 raw mid grades, and then I had a 7.0 white pager which I sold, and an 8.0 off white to white which I still have.
I remember you couldn't give away this book back in like 2010, 2020, back in the day when I got in. It was like people were like Strange Tales, Brother Voodoo, $300 for like a 9.0, and nobody was like, I was like, oh, that's way too high. I'd pay like $100. It's like,
but I'll tell you, this character, they're going to introduce him in Doctor Strange movie. I see them using this character a lot going forward.
Yep.
I mean, it's like magic, all the Doctor Strange, all the mystic arts and the magic, and it lends itself well to special effects.
It's a great first appearance cover too. That helps.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really cool character. I'm really looking forward to it. So this is a book I'm big on, and this sale shows that I'm not the only one.
Perfect. Superman 3.
I have no idea about the price. When you see a Superman 3 on eBay, you pull it and you say, let's take a look at a Superman 3. 1.0, 2,500. I don't know. That's probably a good price for a Superman 3 with a train cover. And I don't know. Why not? That's a cool book to see on eBay. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can get Superman covers for, less than you'd think. I have a Superman 4, and D-Rug thought he had an X-Men 1. He's like, oh, I bet you spent more. And I was like, no, I spent a lot less on my Superman 4 than your X-Men 1.
I mean, a Superman 3 for $2,500, I don't know, but it feels like a good price, right?
It is a good price. It is a good price. I mean, Superman being an iconic superhero that he is, the all being of all, it's like his covers aren't really that. I mean, besides Action 1 and crazy stuff like that, and like a main key, I think his covers are just undervalued, just all around the thing. I mean, it's weird for being Superman. Like, if it's not like a first appearance, it's weird how undervalued Superman is. I think there's so many covers that people maybe get tired of them. I hate to say it.
With the one exception, to me, one of the most overpriced Golden Age comics is Superman 1. No original stories. It's a cool cover, but that comic was going more than Batman 1 for a long time. I think it's only recently corrected itself there, where Batman 1 has really had an inflation for a Golden Age comic. But
I mean, there's a low grade brittle page Superman 1 on Comic Link right now. I think it's a 1.0 brittle pages. And I think the bid is at $75,000 for that right now. And it goes off next week. So I mean, Superman 1 is Superman 1, but if I had my choice, I would take a Batman 1 over that, because
you could probably, and there you go about that prejudice against restored. You could get a restored Superman 1 without brittle pages for cheaper.
Yeah, maybe.
At least you could a year ago. I haven't looked at Superman 1.
I don't know. They're all above my pay grade, but this one, this is an early Superman, a cool cover with a train on it. I think $2,500 is a good price for that.
That's the train is, faster than a locomotive. So people like to sort of associate
it's cool.
With the train.
Here we go. Wonder Comics, number 1.
I just pulled this because this book is an ultra classic. We saw it once tonight already. And this book is really popular in the Golden Age, and you can see a 6.0 conserved for $4,500. I mean, this is a big book.
I would say they got a pretty good deal. What's the conservation?
I don't know. I can look it up. Give me 1 second.
No, it's if I have better vision, but it's still that's not a bad price for that comic, actually.
Yeah, it's a big book and it's a cool one. I just thought it'd be cool to show that. Yeah, it's a white pager and it's a nice copy, and yeah, $4,500.
Cool. And then last but not least, World's Finest #3.
Ooh, yeah.
This is the biggest key with the worst cover combination in the Golden Age.
Brutal.
Unless you're a baseball fan.
First appearance of the Scarecrow, so it's a big book, and the cover is a baseball cover with these three playing baseball. It's such a terrible cover. But
that's why Tech 72 is similar price.
Yeah, but here, so just to show, I mean, I don't know the price on this, but 4.5 for 6,000. If that had a better cover, it would be much more. But it's not a good display piece, but it is a good key. So, and you can see it didn't get a lot of action. Only got one bid. So, but yeah, that's a nice book.
The one you got recently that you were promoting was Strange Tales 110 would be another example. If Doctor Strange were on the cover, it'd be a lot more expensive. All-Star number 8 would probably be another example. If Wonder Woman were on the cover, it'd be a lot more expensive, probably.
Yeah, I think Strange Tales 110, I like the cover, but it doesn't have Doctor Strange on it, and it's not a great cover. And that's the reason why that is as cheap as it is right now. But I'm telling you, that and Avengers 1, if you just have some money to invest in and you don't care what you buy one of those or both of them. I bought 2 Strange Tales 110s. I got a 7.0 white page and a 2.5 white page, and I'm just bought them. I'm just going to sit on them for a couple of years. And they're no brainers at the prices they're going for. It's the first appearance of Doctor Strange. I know the cover sucks, but I mean, it's Doctor Strange for God's sakes. And it's an early Silver Age.
I'm a fan. I actually love those Ditko Doctor Strange stories, man. They're some of my favorite Silver Age stories.
Cool ass book. How can you go wrong?
Yeah.
And they're still cheap. Avengers 1 too. I mean, yeah, no first appearance is an awesome cover. It's a classic team. Avengers aren't going anywhere. I mean, the MCU, you don't make $5 billion off of the Avengers and then just stop doing Avengers movies, and they're going to keep going. I mean, Avengers is going to be around, and that's an early book, and it's a classic cover. I mean, look, I want a Jim 83 because that's first appearance of Thor. I love Thor. It's a great Thor cover, and it's his first appearance. I don't have one, so I have the next best things. I have Avengers 1, which I consider a great Thor cover, and a Silver Surfer 4, which is a great Thor cover.
What do you think of Hulk 1? It felt like that wasn't really moving for a while. I don't know if it's gone up recently, but to me, that's one of the rarest. That is the rarest.
It is
the rarest Silver Age hero first appearance, and it's to me, it's still not. It hasn't had that price spike that
it's starting to, though, because I've been watching that book because I want to pick one up, and there's a 2.0 on Comic Link right now, and it's just past 10 grand, and that book's starting to move. So I think that 2.0 is probably going to go close to 15.
It's a weird curve with Hulk 1 though, because Hulk 1, I've tried to get 1.5s before, and those always went for like 7 to 8 grand, whereas a 4.5 goes for 14 grand a year ago. I'm talking, and it's like just to get in, it's like a minimum buy-in, and then it doesn't actually go up per grade nearly as steep as some other things. I haven't looked at Hulk 1, so I may be wrong at this point where the market stands, but it always seemed to be a little bit of if you had a little extra money, you could get a 3.0.
Yeah, I feel like every auction that goes off, though, I'm seeing prices go higher and higher. I mean, I overbid on an ASM 1, and the stuff I've been picking up recently is coming out of the budget that I was going to use all of it on an ASM 1 in a 6.0. So, I mean, I made a really strong bid and I lost it by 2 grand. And, I mean, I bid more than what I thought it was worth because I figured it'll grow into what I pay, and it's still, I didn't win it. So, I feel like every auction that goes off, these silver keys are going higher and higher and higher still. Now, there are some books that are cooling off. I think some of the bronze books are a bit topped out, like the Hulk 181s, the GSX, I think ASM 300, like the Ultimate Fallout 4 even. Those have tailed off and they've sort of plateaued.
Yep.
Then AF-15 might be close to a plateau range, and I think maybe FF5, in my opinion, is close to plateau range. But then you got books below that are still moving, like ASM 14, Avengers 1, stuff like that. Still has a ton of room to grow to catch up to the other ones. So you got to pick where you're going. in this market to make money, but you know, to get good value. Every auction surprises me these days.
Well, DS, I'm impressed that you're going within the Silver Age market and figuring the Marvel Silver Age market. I've been like putting stuff in DC, sort of like treasury.
Yeah.
Like I'm out of the stock market, I'm going into treasury bills.
Yeah.
with the you know, Silver Age DC doesn't drop, but it doesn't really go up much.
Yep.
It just sort of stays
High
there.
grade.
Well,
Silver Age DC is doing what it's always done. It's slow, steady gains over time, and that's what.
Yeah.
Marvel's got nuclear, but it doesn't mean DC is bad. It's just
no, it's not bad. As I said, I have a good amount. I have Silver Age Marvels, what I've been collecting for.
I tell you, Silver Age high grade DC is it's tough to find as Marvel books that are, you know, or Golden Age books. I mean, if you have 8.0s and like 7.0s and higher graded Silver Age books, you're in the right boat. I'll tell you right now, like Batman 121 and 7.0. I mean, it's going to grow. I mean, it's not like it's not going to grow. So
yeah, I think DC books are harder to find in high grade.
They are.
Especially the first part, like from 60 to 65, that range of DC books, even into the early 70s, man. The DC books are just notoriously hard to find.
They got beat up, man. I mean, it just, you know.
Even like I collect Bronze Age horror, and I mainly collect DC Bronze Age horror, and it's mostly Neil Adams and Bernie Wrightson with some Nick Cardy and some other stuff thrown in there. But to find any of those in high grade and 9 or above is tough. So I shoot for 9.
You have to think of some Charlton here, DS. Have you ever seen this cover, man?
Yeah, Charlton Ghost Banner. Yeah, it's a good one, man.
I pick up a lot of I love DC horror, but I've been getting into some of that Charlton action recently.
Yeah, I have a whole stack of Charlton bronze horror back here, but just like raws I got in the collection, and I haven't sold them yet because I just like them. But yeah, all that bronze horror stuff's cool. And yeah, the Charlton has some really cool stuff. The only stuff I don't like for bronze horror is Marvel, honestly, because it's too,
I don't like it either.
It's too superhero-y.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The only I bought the Werewolf by Night 33 from you. That was like our first interaction, DS.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Long time ago on a YouTube auction, but I never picked it up because I don't really like Werewolf by Night, but I like Moon Knight, so I got that first appearance. And same with Dracula. I mean, I love the Neil Adams Dracula one. I have that one, and I have the first Blade, but I'm not interested in the Frankenstein.
Every time I get a chance, I probably have 5 or 6 copies. I have another one at CBCS right now, and I love picking it up, but I don't like keeping it. So I pick those up and then I sell them. They're just too superhero-ish as opposed to like DC Bronze Age horror is more like PCH. It's like the second wave of PCH. As is Charlton. Charlton has just regular old horror stories. I've got a couple good Charlton ones too. Yeah.
Perfect.
I read those as a kid. I read a lot of Charlton as a kid.
We appreciate you coming on. We really do. We're gonna wrap this up. And what we do, no problem. And what we can do is check us out every Thursday night. I'm signing DS up for Thursday nights. Every Thursday night, we're gonna do old school comics. We appreciate everybody. Again, we congratulations, Man Cave, Captain America 1, great book, great haul video. We can clip this and we can show everybody. But we really appreciate it. And for everybody else, catch us next time, and we'll catch you guys later. See you guys.
Take care.